Important bill, it'll do important things, and this House should support it.
I call the honourable member Chris Ockenvold.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my opposition colleague Andrew Little. You can always tell when a bill isn't quite the way it should be when you hear Andrew speaking noisily. And he was quite noisy then. He was quite noisy.
Point of order, the honourable member, Dennis O'Rourke.
I understand the member referred to another member as Andrew, and I think that's unparliamentary.
Well, to be honest, it's not unparliamentary, but it will. However, the rules are that when you address someone in this House, it must be by their full, either the title or their full name. So the member's quite right.
Their full name? I believe. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was referring, of course,
Honourable Member Chris Ockenvold,
to Andrew Little. We do have a pretty good person. Oh, sorry, Mr. Speaker.
It's Wednesday night. The Honourable
I don't want to be a pedant, Mr. Speaker, but I think, Mr. Speaker, it's generally, at least by their first name and their surname. There are a number of people who have titles, and it's appropriate for them to be used. But, sir, I'm not sure what Mr. Little's full name is, and I'm pretty sure that Mr. Archambault doesn't know it, and I think for you to require him to use it would be a little unfair.
the Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
It's just the House if I draw the member's attention to Speaker's ruling 27(7)(2). Now, one may not, it may not have the definition of what full name is, but it certainly does require the member to use, quote, a person's full name.
To that point of order, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, I'm now going to invite you to give a ruling to the House that for this purpose, full name, that someone's either they're calling someone Mr. Little or the, in my case, the Honourable Trevor Mallard or the Honourable Mr. Mallard would suffice, and that when sorry. Well, this is the point. I'm inviting you to rule, Mr. Speaker, that the middle name is not necessary, and by full name, people mean at a minimum Ms. Curran
Order.
Claire Curran or Claire Mary, but you don't have to say Claire Mary Curran.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Mallard. Order. I'm on my feet. Mr. Mallard asked me to give a ruling, so I'm going to quote my own ruling. Actually, it's Speaker's Ruling 28(1), and it says members may not be addressed by nicknames, first names, and so on. They should be addressed by their proper name or by the position or portfolio they hold. So there you are. Done. The Honourable Member Chris Ockenvold.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
I have already called the Honourable
Member. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just thought the other members may not have heard you. But I would like to thank you for your guidance on this issue, and of course also thank the Honourable Trevor Colin Mallard, born on the 17th of the 6th, 1954, for his very precise requirement that he and others be identified in clarity. I do actually have quite a good personal relationship with Andrew Little, and indeed I have been known to refer to Mr. Mallard as Trev during select committees, not that I would do so in the House.
No, and the member shouldn't.
As I wouldn't, and not alone shouldn't. But, Mr. Speaker, perhaps we could start with the bill. Giving Privacy Commissioners the Necessary Tools Amendment Bill. And this is, of course, by Sue Moroney. And I would have said to Ms. Moroney in another theatre, might have said, Sue Moroney, you've over-egged the cake a little with this one, which is such a pity. Because I'm put in mind of the sort of ragbag collection of members' bills that Charles Chauvel had his legal firm assist with when they came forward, and this one has got more in the sort of description than in the substance, which is such a pity because it is quite an important subject. It's an important subject. And when one compares it to the other bills that you have promoted, this would not be, I expect you to agree, a 6-star job. Really? No, I didn't think so. Oh, I take the process very seriously, and indeed the government takes the process seriously, and that is why, Mr. Speaker, that is why we cannot, in spite of the best intentions, we cannot support this bill, because we do take this matter seriously. We have spent time citing cases. The government, to reiterate, Mr. Speaker, takes privacy very, very seriously. Errors occur. Errors occur. You know, I mean, we have the Green Party who believe in catastrophic revelations. Everything they touch is a catastrophe. Everything is catastrophic in its proportions. Nothing is human error.
The sky is falling.
The sky is not only falling, we're all being absorbed and consumed by it, no matter what it is. So a case of a breach of privacy is a catastrophe. Oil that has yet to be drilled is going to cover New Zealand. It's a catastrophe. It hasn't happened yet. But the government takes privacy errors seriously. Errors occur. We're not talking about excuses, but we are talking about reality with computers and technical information. And it's a matter of importance when these errors do occur and when omissions occur. This bill is to ensure that the Commission has sufficient powers, which is okay. The Law Commission, though, has reported on this matter. National has agreed to bring in legislation to do this, may I say, properly. It is important that the Privacy Commissioner can investigate and bring organisations into the correct code. However, this member believes empowering the Commissioner to issue compliance notices will do that. The government thinks a broader view is required. We want to strengthen. Well, if you listen, you probably missed half of it already. But if you listen, we want to strengthen the Commission. We want to strengthen its role, but not to the same narrow extent that this bill does, which would in effect imprison the Commissioner to a relatively limited range of activities. We want to take the Law Commission's report as a whole and reform the 1993 Act, and for that reason, Mr. Speaker, again, in spite of the best intentions, we will not support this bill.
I call the honourable member